What's up, everybody? My name is Devilor, and I'm going full-time, baby. That's right. After over a decade working in the gaming industry, I am back to content creation, not just as a side gig or as a hobby or whatever, as literally my full-time job. And to help make that happen, I'm launching a Patreon. I'll talk more about that in just a minute, but details are in the description. But before I want to get into that, I want to talk for a moment about why I'm doing this. What has made me go back full-time into content creation? And for starters, as I've kind of alluded to over the last couple of months, it's been something I've been daydreaming about and thinking about for years. I really miss content creation, and I really want the opportunity to get back full-time into it. And people have been asking me over years now, would you ever go back to full-time content creation? Would you ever go back to YouTube? Would you ever go back to being a full-time streamer, etc.? And my answer has always been, absolutely, yes, I would do it in a heartbeat if I thought I could support myself. And so this is something I've just been daydreaming about for so long, and always being like, man, I really love my job, but I also would really love to be doing content creation again. And then, as a lot of you may know, I got laid off at the end of last year. Me and another 10,000 people in the gaming industry got laid off over the course of 2023. And it's not slowing down either. There have already been over 2,700 layoffs in 2024 just from the gaming industry. I will also note, just as a side piece of information there, we're only halfway through January. And in fact, the job finding experts of the industry, people who have made it their whole thing to help people find jobs and to show where jobs are available, are saying if you were laid off from the gaming industry, there's only a 24% chance that you find a new job in the industry this year. That's a heck of a gamble. And I sat back and thought to myself, you know what? If I'm going to take a gamble, might as well bet on myself. And thus far, the reception to Sounds Good Makes Sense has been insane. It has blown any expectations that I had completely out of the water. You guys have been absolutely eating it up, and it just makes me so happy to see all the comments on every single episode I put out saying how happy people are to see me back on YouTube. So if I switch to full-time content creation, I can start putting out even more content here on YouTube. I have a lot of ideas in the pipeline. The first, which is coming very soon, is we're going to start doing a lot more guide style content for Season of Discovery. We're going to start with Phase 2, particularly looking at encounter guides for Gnomragon, but also maybe look into some class and spec guides for characters that I'm playing or any class that I feel I can speak knowledgeably about. In general, you can expect a lot more guide style content for World of Warcraft, and that includes looking closely at things like Cataclysm Classic and The War Within once those become a thing. I'll also be covering the ongoings inside World of Warcraft as part of Sounds Good Makes Sense. And in fact, there's a possibility that that expands into multiple series as well. Just we're going to do some guides on top of that. I'm also working on some concepts for broader topics, things that aren't necessarily directly World of Warcraft related, more gaming industry and so on. It turns out I have opinions on a lot of things. And if I'm going to be a full-time content creator, maybe I'll make a video about some of those. I also want to explore ways to use my platform to highlight the gems of games that the smaller and indie developers are coming up with nowadays. Especially with the way the gaming industry is right now, I really strongly feel that these smaller and indie projects are the future. And I really want to find a way to get some more light on some of those that maybe haven't really caught the Twitch wave yet. Now, I've done this before. I know that being a full-time content creator is a lot of work. And in order to make all this happen, I have to know that I can support myself. And one thing I'm doing to hopefully help make that a thing is I'm launching a Patreon. It is live right now at patreon.com/Devilor. Now, to keep things simple, we're starting with just one tier. We might add more in the future, but for now, there's just the one. Here's what you get with it. First off, every month I will put out a Patreon exclusive video that details what my plans are for the channel in that coming month. The first one of those will be coming out at the end of January and go over what we'll be doing here on the channel in the month of February. And this video will go into a lot more granular detail about exactly what's planned. Like, what are the sorts of topics I'm planning on hitting in Sounds Good Makes Sense? What are the events that are occurring within that month that I think I'm going to want to cover? What are the releases that are happening that we're going to want to talk about? You'll also get a lot more behind the scenes sort of insight and knowledge in how I actually produce the shows and what I do that goes into it. Now, obviously, if I have anything huge to announce, that will still go out everywhere, but you'll hear about it first on Patreon. The second perk is that you'll be able to be a direct part of a new series that I'm going to be doing here on YouTube called Transmog Throwdown. Now, as you might expect from the name, this is a transmog related video. You'll be able to submit your looks to then have me talk about them in the video itself. And while everyone here on YouTube will be able to watch the video, only patrons will be able to submit their characters and submit their looks to be included in the show. There's a catch, however. Because these are patrons, obviously, these are people that I want to be nice to. I want to be talking about how great it is. So I've decided I have to be nice, no matter what. If you send in your carefully curated and really put together like complete ensemble that really just glows and looks amazing, then yes, I'm obviously going to hype that up and talk about how great it looks. Or you could send in the most obnoxious, cobbled together, fresh out of Hellfire Peninsula nonsense that you can come up with. And I will still have to talk about how much I love that and how great it looks. Now, obviously, it's called Transmog Throwdown, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Transmog. Classic characters are also allowed. Just put on whatever you want and send in your screenshots. It's a bit of an experiment. It might work. It might not. If it's something that people love, we'll continue doing it. If it's something that people are just kind of meh about, I've got a bunch of other ideas. We'll come up with something else. Patrons will also have access to the members-only community that I have on Discord. This will not only get you access to the shared community that I have with all of my Twitch subscribers and YouTube members, but there is also a patron-only section in the Discord where you can talk about the stuff that I'm releasing early on Patreon, such as the monthly updates. It'll also be a great place for you to suggest things like topics you want to see me covering or other ideas you have for content that you'd like to see. And last but not least, for now anyway, you'll also get access to all of our community game servers. So if you're unfamiliar, a lot of times there will be a game that's coming out or just something that our community is really excited to play. And if it's the sort of game where it has the ability for me to stand up a private server, I will do one just for our community to play on. In the past, we've done games like 7 Days to Die, Ark. Eco is a big one. We actually have an Eco season going on right now. We've also done games like Conan Exiles in the past. And yeah, those are all survival crafting games. It doesn't have to be a survival crafting game. Those are just the examples that immediately come to mind. And in fact, if you have other ideas, hey, great place to suggest them in that Discord. And I'll be looking to add on more perks and more tiers potentially in the future as well. So I'm super open to any suggestions that anyone has for stuff you'd like to see on Patreon. And once again, that is live right now. You can go and sign up on patreon.com/Devalor and join our community. And I just want to say once again, I really, really appreciate all of the support that I've gotten so far in my sort of return to YouTube and now jumping into full-time content creation again. It's been absolutely mind-blowing. And there is, like I said, way beyond any expectations that I could have possibly had. This is a very, very scary thing for me to be doing because this is my livelihood that I'm putting on the line here. But you all have made me feel like maybe it's actually possible. Maybe this is something we can make happen. And I really, really appreciate all the support. And this is hopefully just the beginning. I have so many big ideas, small ideas, medium-sized ideas, micro ideas, etc. I've got ideas. There's so many things that I want to be able to accomplish. And it all starts with this. So if you're able to support, I greatly appreciate it. Once again, thank you all so much for checking it out. I'll catch you later.